can't control my drip. Sauce all on, who gon' clean this shit? Sauce all on, ice on my neck, ice on my bitch.
You guys, I'm gonna be doing a start to finish video of how I'm gonna be constructing this wig today. So this is the hair that I've had this for a while now, but some of the bundles are a little bit higher on the coloring and some are low. So I'm gonna go back in and just do a little bit higher on the bleaching. So I'm gonna go higher with the bleaching just so that it can take the color that I'm gonna be doing, because I'm also gonna be doing a watercolor method. So the watercolor method, the color I chose to do is blue black. So we're gonna go and do that today. I have my Clairol bottles and my developers all ready. My brush ready for the Beijing that I'm gonna be doing later, because the closure is a 5x5 closure in the 14" and then it's a natural color, and I don't always like to keep my hairs in natural color. I always Beijing them black because I just like having them jet black instead of the natural color. So I have the 59 Oriental Black that I'm. This is basically some of the things that it says when you buy the closure, basically how the closure comes. It comes with baby hair, semi-bleach knots, pre-plucked hair edge, and silk texture lace. See, it's bohemian, and it's a 5x5 with the pineapple wave. And I got that from my local beauty supply store, Beauty Exchange, which I love going there to get my closures and frontals from. So let's get right into this video. I'm gonna start showing you guys how I bleach. And yeah, let's just start. Okay, so we're gonna start with the closure first, because the closures might take a little bit longer to do just because it hasn't been bleached yet on the end. So I'm already added 2 scoops to the bowl, the dyeing bowl. And I'm gonna be using 50. I know some people are like scared to do 50, but I've been bleaching hair for a while, so I kind of know. But I'm doing 50, and I'm gonna just do the same thing, just eyeball exactly how much I'm gonna add into it. And I want it to be a thick consistency, just because the thicker it is, the more it'll take. If it's liquidy, it'll just be everywhere, and I don't want it everywhere. So just gonna make sure it's a thick consistency. And we'll go ahead and mix that all in. Once it's thick enough and it looks to the right consistency, we'll go ahead and add it to the hair. So see, it's a little too thick, so we need a little bit more. Try not to go too crazy. Good thing I got a 40. Okay. So I learned my lesson with wearing gloves when doing bleaching, when doing coloring, because I've had my share of not wearing gloves and having my fingers stained of color, having my fingers stained with the bleach, with white powder being stuck on my finger for like a few days. So I learned my lesson with that. So now we're just gonna go ahead and bleach from the ends on up, and then once we get to a good amount of where I really want it, I'll go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So this is basic back and forth. I'm just gonna be doing the same thing, just putting it all over the hair and back and front, and just repeating that. And then I'll just do the same thing on the bundles, and you can see. So this is basically how far I've went so far, and I just been doing this all the way up to where I feel like I've reached the desired amount of where I want to stop. So as of right now, I do think I can go a little bit higher, so I'm just going to continue to go a little bit higher. And then once that is done, I'll go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing that I'm doing on this side on the other side as well. Okay, so I flipped it over, and you can start to see that the color's already changing, which is why I like to use 50. So I already flipped it over, and I already started like this side. Since I put enough on the other side, it was able to transfer to this side, so I won't have to put so much on this side. But yeah, you can already start to see the colors already starting to lift, and that's why I like to use the 50, because it processes it a lot faster. So this should be done in a little bit. I won't have it sit for too long, probably like 5-10 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, because 50 really does work very fast. So as long as I let it sit in this foil and let it get hot, after 3 to 5 minutes, I can go ahead and take it off, because I'm not trying to lighten it too light. I'm trying to keep it at least to like a good consistency to where the color shows, but it doesn't show. I'm trying to do the color that I did on the closure is basically the same thing I'm going to do on the bundles. So whatever part of the bundles that I feel like I need to go higher on, I'm gonna go ahead and lighten those with it. Like the ends, some of those ends will stay the way they are, but I'm gonna go higher on the coloring for bleaching it, and then once that is done, we'll go ahead and move on to the watercolor. That's what I was talking about. The color does change pretty quick. See, it's already been sitting and it's already turned to the color that I wanted, so I am gonna wash this out because this is the color I'm gonna keep it, because the blue black, I don't want it to show too much, just because for work purposes I can't really wear blue. So that's why I'm doing the I see you but I don't see you kind of blue black. I'm not trying to go too light with the bleaching, just so that they won't be able to tell that it's blue and black. They'll just think that it's all black, but it's really not. So you can tell that the color changed because the top is still the 1B color, but it looks like it's jet black, but it's not. And then here's the number 2 okay color. Time to do it again. That's 1 scoop. Here's the 2nd scoop. Here's the 50. All right. And if it's too liquidy, I'll just add more, which it is gonna be more liquidy, but that's okay. You can still use it while it's liquidy because it'll go on the hair the same way. It'll just won't go on like the way I did it before. But it looks like I didn't do it too creamy, which is good. So we'll go ahead and just use that mixture, and then we'll start. Like you see how this isn't like high enough on the color, so I'm just gonna do that to all the bundles. Just go through and see which ones need to go higher in color and which ones don't, and then that's it. Just using regular hot tap water. I made sure it was on the hottest temperature so I can go ahead and use it instead of boiling water on the stove and doing all that, because I've seen a lot of other people on YouTube that use the tap water and it still worked the same way to do the watercolor. So I'm just gonna use this method, and I'm gonna test it with a napkin. I'm gonna make sure once I put the color in, I'm whisk it all together and mix it all together, that I test it first before I just dye the hair in, because I don't want it to not show up. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the Got to Be Glued on the closure so that it won't get tinted with the color. And I learned this method from Larisha Andrea from YouTube, and I like to watch her and Ivy because they're like my favorite. So out of the 3, I have Larisha Andrea, Ivy, and Peak Mill. Those are the 3 that I like to watch on YouTube. So I learned this method from him, and it works. So the lace doesn't get tinted when you're coloring, and then it'll be easier. So I just let it air dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the watercolor on the bundles first while I let this dry. So okay, so we're gonna start with the blue black from Adore. Go ahead and squeeze that in there.
Okay.
Squeeze a good amount. I did like 3 to 6 squirts, maybe 7, maybe 8. The darker, the better. Go ahead and whisk it so we can make sure it doesn't have any more thickness in there. And then I'm going to do a napkin test to make sure that it does turn to the color that I want it to, so I can go ahead and start watercoloring this hair. Okay, so let's do the napkin test with the Adore Blue Black. And this is how it came out. So it's not dark enough yet, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more in there. I'm adding some more to make sure it comes out darker. I just put the whole bottle. That's all I gotta do. Okay. Let me whisk it and then we'll try it again. Make sure it came out dark enough. All right. Let's check to see. Test again. Much better. So it's now I'm gonna do the blue black with the Kiss and see how that turns out. All right, go ahead and whisk this, and then do the napkin test on this as well. Try the napkin test. Still watery. Go ahead and add a little bit more to Kiss because it wasn't dark enough. Like we might have to add the whole bottle. It's only one bottle to Kiss. And go ahead and whisk it. Try this end here. Much better. Alright, time to watercolor. So I added one in there already. It's still hot, but I just threw it in there. I just wanted the whole thing to go in at one time so it can take the color. So, that was fast. Yeah, it was brown at first and it already took the color, which is good because you can't even see it, which is what I wanted. I want to, now you see me, now you don't color. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's add the rest of the bundles. So, see, it's brown. It's the way I wanted it. And I'll just throw the whole thing in there. This is the Kiss. And then that's the door. See, the door kind of looks black in the Kiss. I think the door's, you see, there's the brown. So I'm just going to continue to just repeat the same process because I have a lot to do as far as you can see. I have a lot to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and just repeat the same process. And then when it's done, I'll just go ahead and show you guys the results of what they came out to look like. If they even show up, which is good because I don't want the color to show so much. So, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I try it just so no one else can catch the blue unless it's in the sunlight. I'm just going to keep dunking all the bundles in there and then I'll dunk the closure last just because I'm still waiting for the glue to finish drying. Once it's dry, I can add it in there so that the lace won't get tinted. And then when it's done, I'll show you guys the end result. So I'm just going to continue doing the same thing over and over. That's okay, so it's dry now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the closure. Closure time. If it don't take in this, I'll just do another batch of water. But all the other ones took already. I let them sit in here for at least 5 to 10 minutes. But really 5 minutes. So I'm going to do the same thing with the closure. But this is the door. And it already took. I just let it keep sitting in there. Just so it can take as much color as it can. Until the water goes clear. That's basically what you want to do. So everyone try to put the ends in first so it can take the color. I did the same thing, put the ends in first so it could take the color the most because that's where I wanted the color to be at. So you don't see it on the top, which you don't need on the top because the top is already black. So as you can see, the Kiss did not take, but you can still see brown in the hair. And the door did take. There's no more brown left in the hair. So I'm gonna have to rinse this out and do another batch of hot water and then just use the rest of the door that's left to finish off this hair. Okay, so I got another fresh batch of hot water. I'm gonna use the rest of the Adore and call it a day. And put that back in the water. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And I just added it to the new water so it could take. Once it's done, I'll go ahead and start constructing the wig so you guys can see what the outcome will be like. So yeah, like I told you guys, Adore is what I'm familiar with using. So I always use Adore to color my hair. I only tried the Kiss because I've been seeing other people use the Kiss and I thought it would work. But it didn't. Maybe it's because I only had got one bottle, but I'd used one bottle of the Adore in this and it took. But it didn't take on this one, so Just doing it again with the Adore. So yeah, learn from your mistakes. It's my first time doing the watercolor, but I actually like this better than having to dye the whole bundle, because that takes forever. So this works way better. I think I'm gonna start just using watercolor from now on. Only like if I'm doing like the roots of my hair, only if I'm doing a 613 color or any other color that I want to do shadowing to, I'll do the shadowing with the dye itself on the roots and then do the watercolor method. But other than that, if I'm just doing like the whole thing one color or doing multicolors, I think this is gonna be my new way of doing it. You save way more money and way more time to not have to spend there the whole day doing the same thing over and over. And then some parts taking, some parts not taking, going in, taking your time. Yeah, this gets all the parts. Really good. Here I am just washing out the bends of the color and then the color in the hair. I'm going to go ahead and just wash it out with conditioner, because the Adore, I already basically clean them out by shampooing them, because they come with the scent with shampoo in it already. So I'm going to go ahead and just condition it just so that the color can stop bleeding. So you can get the color to stop bleeding. After that, time to construct the wig. So we're gonna go ahead and condition it to stop the bleeding process, so that way it doesn't get on your clothes when you wear your clothes. And I like to use Tresemme. I like to use the shampoo and the conditioner to like wash my hairs and stuff. So I'm just gonna go like this. Go ahead and wash out the closure first, because that's the first part that's gonna be sewed on, and then we can go ahead and start making the unit. So I'm just making sure I get all of that condition. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys that it didn't tint the lace, because I did the method with the Got to Be glue spray. See, under the color got on the lace. So I'm happy about that. Just gonna condition it. And when you condition it, you just take your time. Then you're gonna rinse it out and make sure no colors are coming out anymore. Basically all you're gonna do. So that's all I'm gonna continue. This is what I basically do. You're just gonna run it under the water and make sure the water is running clear. Once you see the water is running clear, which it is, you're gonna go ahead and stop, and now no more color is coming out of it anymore. So that's what you want. You just want the water to run clear up underneath the head. So once you see that, once you see it's clear, then you're good to go ahead and stop. And just gonna do that. Not no more color coming out. So you want to just make sure you see clear running water underneath the head. That way you know it won't be bleeding or whatever you wear.
I'm in a drip like that. I'm too rich like that. Get a bitch just like that.